Hey friends, my name is Teacher Josh, and I hope you are ready to learn another language. I actually used the growing participator approach. You can see down here it's called the growing participator approach. The lesson plans and the technique are not, were not created by me. I have to give credit to Greg and Angela Thompson. Greg has a doctorate in linguistics and is a fantastic person. I've met him and gone through his teacher training. He has given me permission to put these lessons online as long as they are not sold for commercial purposes. So we're looking at the growing participator approach. It's a fantastic and exciting way to learn a second language. I actually learned Arabic using this technique. And, you know, when I first started learning a language, I was in a traditional classroom, just memorizing a lot of material, and I couldn't speak at all. And I found this particular program while I was living in Jordan with my wife, and we both went to Malaysia for 2 weeks and did the training. And we came back to Jordan and hired what we call a nurturer, and we started this approach, and my spoken Arabic just took off. So listen, this particular program, listen, you gotta look at it as a lifelong journey. We're talking years here, not weeks or months. If you truly want to learn a language and be able to communicate and participate in the host community, it just takes time. And one of the things I love best about the growing participator approach is found in the phrase itself. You're growing as you participate in the host community or culture. And the good news is, if you live in a large city at all here in the U.S., you should be able to find multiple languages all around you. The other good news is the growing participator approach is actually been written. I'm just going to scroll down here. The lessons have been translated into, well, we got English, Arabic, French, Dutch, Spanish, Portuguese, Turkish, Urdu, Chinese. So you can take these lessons and go through it with any one of those languages. Matter of fact, you can do it in any language. That just happens to be the languages that the lesson plans have been translated into. But the truth is, you as a language learner in this material, you're called a growing participator. You're the one that's guiding and directing your language sessions, and your nurturer, or your teacher, if you will, is just following your lead. So this is phase 1A, and it focuses completely on the here and now. So physical objects, things you can see around you. And the idea of this particular curriculum is to grow in a natural way. So phase 1 is the here and now phase. It's about 100 hours. You got phase 1A and phase 1B. And in phase 1A, you're using a lot of pictures and physical objects, and you start off by just listening and being able to identify objects by pointing at them. And then after about the first 25 hours of listening and pointing and recognizing, you start to talk and identify objects. Then you move into phase 2, which is the shared story phase. Phase 2 is the story building phase. You use a lot of pictures and talk about pictures. Then phase 3, the story building phase is about 150 hours. The shared story phase, you start to share your story back and forth with the other person. That's about 250 hours. Deep life sharing phase would be phase 4. It's about 500 hours. Native to native discourse phase is another 500. And then self-sustained growth in the community is just ongoing over a lifetime. And I got to tell you, it's critical if you're going to use this program that you find one or two nurturers or people in the host community that speak the language that will spend concentrated time with you each week doing these lessons. Yeah, also, I think it's important to note that the growing participator approach focuses heavily on relationship, which I love. The guys that nurtured me in Arabic and in Jordanian culture are still some of my closest friends. So you're going to need to find somebody that can help you in that culture and in that language that you're trying to learn. And then you can take these lessons and use them to guide your study. What I'm doing here, the Many Languages project, I'm actually just taking the graphics and the pictures, and I'm trying to create fun activities to simply supplement what you're doing in your class. And I'm focusing on English primarily, trying to help internationals learn English. So anything else I need to mention here? Phase 1A, again, you're going to create supercharged participation activities. A lot of language techniques use just memorization to learn phrases so that you can begin communicating. It's been proven that if you can learn through conversation, through pictures, through participating in the language, you're going to remember it better, and you're going to have a lot more fun doing it and build relationships along the way. I like this comment. We observe that people develop more broad communication ability when they learn by communicating rather than by memorizing. By communicating, we mean using supercharged participation activities. So we're going to jump right into this. Before you have your first lesson, I highly recommend that you carefully read over the introduction to Phase 1A that I have here for you. And make sure you prepare yourself for each lesson ahead of time and have all of the materials that you need before you start. And I promise you it's going to be an enriching and fun experience. Alrighty, good luck.